The sky was burning. The clouds red with twisted fire. Lightning moving across them. And they descended upon everything. Like a furious battle between God and Satan, good and evil. Like a fire vortex.
Good evening, everyone. We are back for some last SGL action for match day 7 in the championship. This is the only Mazar, and I'm not alone in the commentary booth. With me, the man who will be offering you all the insight for one very particular team is Rydog of Timber's Army. Rydog, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Maz. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We should have a fun match tonight between Axe and Rose and Steel Army. Yeah, we've got we could talk about both teams a little bit, but yes, Bird, I am commentating this one, so you're welcome. There we go.
Yeah, welcome on in, everyone in the chat. Rydog, I see you got in nice and early. Bird Nana, welcome in. Raisin Boy, good to see you as well. And we're going to be hopefully seeing a few more people join in as we get closer to kickoff. So, this is the final match of weekday 7. Just as a quick reminder, we can just quickly go over the results over the rest of the matches very quickly. The left side happened, I think, a couple of weeks ago. So, we don't need to cover them again. We all know that. Last week, we had the matches in the right side. EC Defiance versus EM Big Dogs. EC Defiance comfortably seeing off the Big Dogs 3-1. BG Old Timers getting a sweep on Los Verdes after conceding game 1. And now we have Axe and Rose versus Steel Army to finish off match day 7.
Yeah, props to Steel Army. Obviously, I'm in the Axe and Rose Discord as well, and props to Steel Army for being super flexible with this one. I know some of the Axe and Rose boys have had kind of crazy weeks, so props to them.
Crazy in a good or bad way?
Oh, just neither. Just crazy.
Okay, all good. Yeah, I was about to ask you about that because I know you're well connected with the Axe and Rose players. Tell me what their mindset's been like going into this matchup. I realized they should have been playing yesterday, but they weren't able to make it for various reasons. Probably because of the crazy week that you've alluded to. But here we are today. They should be coming in very soon. What's their state of mind looking like?
Yeah, I think it's been good so far. I think it's been the same like throughout the season, where you see that record 0-6, and that's just not like connecting the mentality of the team to their record. You just don't see the connection. Like they have the mentality that they can do it and they can compete with any team, which is good. And so yeah, I think obviously the technical side of things and that sort of thing isn't quite there yet. But like I said, they do a lot of replay review. They do a lot of practicing over the course of during the weeks and stuff like that. So obviously, I'm super proud of them as a newly formed team that represents my soccer team alliance as well. So yeah, we'll see how they do tonight. I know they've been kind of wishy-washy with time. Like people have jumped in and out of them playing, but yeah, we'll see if they can put it together tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's hope for the best, because on paper, this does look like a one-sided affair, Rydog. And we were kind of like alluding to that before we kicked off the stream. I mean, what do you think will be a successful match for them in this case? Do you think 1 point will be good for them, or should they aim higher? Should they, probably push for a win, or should they just aim to get 1 point and just at least move on from that?
Well, I mean, obviously, Steel Army is one of the best teams in the league. I think they're either first or second right now. I'm not super sure, but honestly, it's just to keep competing. I think it's to keep building on the mentality that they have been so far, and I think obviously they do have 3 game wins under their belt, and so I remember, going into their Discord and being like, hey, you guys have done it now, right? Like you guys have proved to yourselves that you can do it for 5 minutes at a time. You can do it completely for a game. And so it's, can they basically do that again? And so, yeah, I think they can do it. I think when they're playing at their peak, I think they can squeak out a win or two. Like I said, it just depends on how they're feeling in the chat right now. I didn't get a chance to pop in usually like I normally do and say good luck and all that fun stuff. But, like I said, I think if they can keep just their mental high, and if they can compete, even maybe taking it, a 1-goal game, or maybe like an overtime loss, or even overtime win. Like if they can just keep it close, they might be able to squeak out a win and obviously build up from there.
Yeah, and I'd say that would be a relative success for them. I mean, looking at the stats right here, you can see that they very much lean heavily on to the defensive end. A lot of saves. They concede a lot of demos. They're not really active on the other end. Their shot percentage is quite low. So I think they're just going to go for sit back and hope for the best. You know, park the bus and see if they can get a smash and grab in one of the games. And contrast that to Steel Army's player stats. I mean, this is just absolute dominance. Look at Debit's shots. 104. Bear Blitz, 61. That's close to tripling what the top 3 shooters have in Axe and Rose. You know, and it's just a stark contrast to what, you know, Axe and Rose's team profile looks like. And you're just thinking, yeah, this is gonna end in nothing more than, you know, a convincing victory for Steel Army. But you're right, Rydog. You know, at the end of the day, if they can keep their focus, play to their strengths, and surprise Steel Army, I think they can get a game for sure.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the boost management, I think, especially defensively for Axe and Rose. Is obviously we know the skill level of all 4 of those players. We'll see who obviously makes an appearance for Steel Army in the starting 3, or of course over the course of the series. But if they can have boosts on the defensive end, Axe and Rose, I think they'll have a good chance of obviously defending the shots that come in. And if they can stay organized themselves to then get those saves under their belt and then build off of that going on the offensive end, they have a shot. I don't want to discount them just yet. Obviously, the eye test, the stats test doesn't look like that. But like I said, they go into each week thinking it's a new week, and I think they'll be up for it.
And as we say that right out, here we go. Game 1 in Manfield between Axe and Rose and Steel Army. And Axe and Rose get the perfect start. This is exactly what they were looking for, right on. They sniffed out a great opportunity. Double commit from Steel Army. Open that dark shade. Easy as you like. 1-0 to the underdogs.
Yeah, it's a great start. It's just capitalizing on the mistakes. Like I said, I wish I would have jumped into comms, the Axe and Rose comms earlier, just to see how they're feeling. But obviously, starting like that's got to feel really good. Let's see if they can keep the attack going, but also stay solid on defense with the inevitable attacks from Steel Army coming their way.
And let's take a look at the trios for both sides as this action develops. Good attack right there for Steel Army. Ball loose in the middle, finally cleared up by HD Delight, one of the key players for Axe and Rose playing right now, alongside Hamburger Herder, who was trepping them in the player stats dashboard, and the Dark Shade. Would you say that's the strongest 3 right on?
I think so. We've seen Cubba quite a bit. I think he's got a few games under his belt as well, but yeah, I think this is the top 3. These are the 3 that seemingly play together the most. As we see Red 4, he's going to have an open net to shoot at, and Goddamn Delight can't quite get there. Red 4, the shot from midfield. It's a slight double commit there as Dark Shade and Hamburger Herder do go for the same ball, and unfortunately, Goddamn Delight didn't get enough boost there. That boost spawned right after he left. So we're back even, just under a minute gone, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with both teams.
And speaking of, Steel Army, we have Raisin Boy, Red 4, and Bear Blitz. No Debit starting this game. Typically, when we don't see Debit starting, we see Bear Blitz popping off. And I say Red 4 right there. You know, he's also stepped up and gone way better in his recent performances. But would you say Bear Blitz is the important player for Steel Army in this team?
I think with this starting 3, I would think so. As we see Bear Blitz gets the save, Raisin Boy's going to have to bail him out in the end. And yeah, I think if Bear Blitz is one of those players, no matter what roster they throw out there to start, that if Bear Blitz can play well, the team plays well. He's kind of like a Dr. Aquatic, if you will, from the locals, where if Dr. Aquatic plays very well.
Oh my god.
That's just an insane double from Red 4. It's a miss on the back end from Axe and Rose. I'm not sure who it was, but Red 4 decides to go for this, and this is a really tight angle.
That is insanely acute. I mean, the amount of precision required to get that in would be difficult for most pros to accomplish, and Red 4 just gets it done right there, and that's all it takes to take the lead against this Axe and Rose team. And we see a big dunk from Bear Blitz high up in the air. When the second goal goes in, the third follows. Steel Army are starting to wrap it up.
Yeah, this is exactly what you don't want if you're an Axe and Rose fan, of course. They started out strong with the goal, but have just not gone to that same flow state as they did to open this game. So we'll see how it goes on, but they can't get discouraged. And I know, like I talked about, their mental in pregame is very good. They give up some of these goals here, their mental doesn't get down, and I think that's very important. They just need to keep continuing on the defensive end. That's a good save from Hamburger Herder to stop that attack now.
I will say this as well. I'm liking the boost management from Max and Rose right now. They're not over using their boost. They're not trying to just go for big boosts. They're managing it way better than I've ever seen them this season. And against the Steel Army team, boost management is paramount. Darkshade with a full tank of boost gets away with it there. As Steel Army are not able to follow up that 50. Pressure continued by Red for open net. Bearblitz faking it. Darkshade barely gets a touch on the ball and gets away with it.
Yeah, that was really close. I saw the fake from a mile away, but it's not going to fake out the dark shade there on the defensive end as we see Bearblitz once again going for the ceiling pinch. Didn't quite get it now, but here's where the boost struggles come into play for Action Rose. That's a great save from Hamburger Herder on the goal line.
Right
again,
place.
they don't really have boosts.
Oh, absolutely. Right place at the right time. That's what you need when you don't have boost. And right now, Action Rose needs to start replenishing their boosts. Good effort there by the Darkshade, but still gets beaten. And right now, Steel Army's on top of Axe and Rose. Good defending though so far. They just need someone to relieve the pressure. Get a midfield challenge out. And so far, it's been a bit of a struggle. Oh no, open net. All thanks to Raisin Boy's physical play right here. Notice the bump he puts onto AGD Delight, who then touches the ball away from the keeper, from the third, and Raisin Boy had the simple task of tapping it in.
Yeah, it's just super unfortunate. I know Goddamn Delight didn't really want that touch, but yeah, like you said, just got bumped into it at the end of the day, and it's kind of unfortunate as we see slight double commit coming out from Action Rose. That's a big demo. Bearblitz is still here in the middle, but Cross is going to allow him to retreat. There's no immediate pressure. That's a good bump from Delight again as Action Rose will clear the ball out. So I guess my preliminary assessment of Action Rose as one that's slightly biased is obviously they opened the game very well, and their boost management on the defensive end has been okay. It's now can they kind of save their boosts enough to get on the offensive end, because I think right now they're using all of their boosts to clear attacks from Steel Army, which obviously is a good thing, but then they don't have boosts on the offensive end. So let's see if they can fix that going late into this game one and early into game two.
Big time. And the other side of that boost management off is the ability to win your challenges when you get into those moments, as you just saw right there. If you're just diving your vehicle in to a challenge and you miss, suddenly you need to use your boost to get back, even if you pick some in the middle. And then you get into trouble like this, and that allows Steel Army to get their passing game going. Red 4 with yet another goal, 5-1 with 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, that's a great pass from Bearblitz over to Red 4. Red 4 in the right spot. I wasn't sure what Bearblitz was going to do with that ball. It looked like, at least originally to me, that he hit it way too hard, but it ended up being the perfect pass to Red 4, who's actually just kind of camping at the far post there. So it ended up working out as we see another clearance and save from Action Rose. And yeah, I think this game is exactly how we turned out. It's going to be a dunk attempt, but it's a good save from Bearblitz. But yeah, once again, the mental I know for Action Rose is good. I know that they stay positive in these times, and they're getting so much better too of knowing what they can fix. I think they maybe needed some help with that kind of towards the first part of the season. I would jump in and say, hey, but what about these things? Have you look at where people are on the field and those sorts of things. But they're getting so much better at identifying those things themselves. And so that's why, I haven't really needed to jump in as much as I did maybe in the beginning of the season, because I know that they are able to identify those things. And so obviously scoreboard wise doesn't look that great, but like I said, I think they're feeling good internally. I think a lot of the goals they understand are kind of their own mistakes. And that's obviously a good thing, because that means they can fix them.
Right on. Can I just say this real quick? I'm loving all the insight you're offering about Axe and Rose, because people don't seem to realize how much they've been improving. And I say people in the grander scheme of things. Of course, we see a bunch of people in chat who've kept track of them, like Toad Death. Debit been watching a lot of action as well. And we have a bunch of other people who are lurking in the background. Thank you guys for coming in. But I will say this for people who haven't seen Axe and Rose that much. Guys, they've come a long way. They've come a very, very long way. And I'm very happy to hear Rydog offer all this insight. And it's good for us to hear how they have progressed. Because Steel Army, they may be getting these kind of big results, but let's not discount and dismiss the progress that Axe and Rose have made. But with that said, Steel Army still far ahead, and they've benefited from having been in this league for years, playing together for years. And that's what it takes to get to this level.
Yeah, I often compare this Axe and Rose team to the old EC Defiance, right? I'm not sure exactly when their first season was, but I know when we started playing in season 7, you know, it was a team that you would kind of go in and go, hey, I think this, you know, we're gonna get the result. We're gonna get a hefty result. The games might be a little bit lopsided, but I don't think you can say that now, right? And it's taken them 2 seasons. Obviously, those guys, Bird Nana, Tam player, Bird Nana, give that man a DP contract, and the rest of those guys have been playing together for so long that they've just all improved. And obviously, they're, I think, sitting in 3rd in the league table in the championship. So they've absolutely earned it. And so obviously for these Axe and Rose guys, they're just at the beginning of that cycle. So once they get a few more seasons under their belt, they'll start to look like that EC Defiance team like they do now.
And let's hope they can turn it up right now, because Devin comes in for Raisin Boy and makes an instant impact straight out of kickoff in this game 2. Power shot from the middle, 67 miles per hour, 108 kilometers per hour on Alan's BangersOnly.com radar gun, 1-0 to Steel Army.
Yeah, it's a really good pass. Once again, just another pass inside, and Debit making his stamp on the game as a shot comes in from Delight. It's going to be saved out by Blair Blitz. But yeah, welcome to the server, Debit, getting on the board first. And obviously we know what Debit can bring, so we're not surprised that that one was doing his thing. But yeah, so far so good. It looks like Axe and Rose apart from that double commit. Debit, is he going to take advantage? No, not quite. It's a good rush back from the Axe and Rose defense. But other than that double commit, they've looked good, even giving up that early goal.
Yeah, and it's only, you know, we're still within the first minute, so there's still a lot of Rocket League action going in this game too. But so far, Steel Army have had a really good start. Good chance right here. Nice defending there from Redford to break it out. And one thing I do want to highlight is, with Debit coming in, that means Bear Blitz starts to take a back seat, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so, and I think the rotations are good enough here for Steel Army that they can kind of, you know, they're comfortable with anybody playing kind of the 3rd man or the 1st man or, you know, whatever. And I think that's just led to one of their strengths. I've often compared the Steel Army team to a G2 where they don't really have that star player, but all 3 of the players are so very good, and they all pop off at different moments. And so yeah, you can say maybe Debit might be the best technically, but you look at the stats, they're all fairly even, as we see a rare miss from Debit, and that's going to be the Dark Shade coming in for Axe and Rose, and it's 1-1 just past the forfeit time.
The Dark Shade got the first goal in game 1, and now he gets the first goal in game 2. HD Delight throwing Steel Army off with his attempt of a backboard double. Dark Shade coming in, cleaning it up, 1-1, and this game is still wide open, folks.
Absolutely, but not for long, as Red 4 takes the ball off the kickoff. Let's see what happened here on the defensive side. Darkshade didn't commit. It allowed Hamburger Herder to try and come in, but was a little bit too late in the end, and that's just going to be basically a free shot from Steel Army, and yeah, they get the lead right back.
That's insane. I mean, you know, you come back, but Steel Army don't give you time to breathe. They get right back into it. It's Red 4. The guy, another player who's also been getting better and better as the seasons progress, is starting to play a bigger part. Darkshade, open net! Again, open net! HED letting it go! Hamburger Herder getting challenged by the same Red 4 we were just talking about, and the ball now goes to the other end.
Here comes Debit, gets a double off the backboard. It's going to be super awkward for the Axe and Rose defense. Debit, it's going to be a good save from Delight again, but if you can see the boost struggling right now for Axe and Rose, as we see all Steel Army players geared up and ready to go. This clear is going to be big for Delight, as Bear Blitz is trying to go for a bump maybe, but Hamburger Herger is going to clear the ball. Debit, can he get the bump? Is that just going to go in? Bear Blitz, thanks for the save, I guess, and Delight clears. The lead stays at 1.
I will say this, didn't Hamburger Herder get credited by save right there? HED Delight has a shot on goal.
Not quite. There's a lot of hooligans going around as Red 4 is going to play this off his own backboard. But Axe and Rose once again in the attack. It's super awkward for Red 4, but there's nobody crashing from Axe and Rose. That ball is going to go into the middle, but Darkshade once again doesn't have boost. But the attack's still going for Axe and Rose. Off of the backboard, Red 4 clears, and that secondary touch is going to stop the attack now.
Great attack sequence there from Max and Rose, though, Rydog. I mean, they rotated they rotated really well right there. Kept up the pressure, kept the intensity going, made sure there was someone to get on the ball. They've also managed to boost pretty well that they can keep up that pressure. Steel Army had to sit back. Not for long, though. Bearblitz open net. He could not get the final touch. And that is a huge miss for Steel Army. Axe and Rose are still in this game.
Absolutely. It was a really good clear from Darkshade coming off of the post. Got a really good touch as Debit is going to finish this one as the ball just bounces off the backboard. But once again, I think it's just a lack of boost here for Axe and Rose. Goddamn Delight, the only one with boost, but thinking Hamburger Herder can maybe get a touch on it and send it to the corner, but it's going to be an insurance goal for Steel Army. But once again, yeah, Axe and Rose looking a lot better in this game as Bearblitz gets another kickoff win. Is Debit going to get there? No, it's going to be Red 4 off the post, and it's going to be cleared out. So back and forth stuff here, Debit. Once again, Steel Army still looking good on the scoreboard.
Well, if Devin was in the commentary booth, he definitely agreed that this was a back and forth affair. I will say this, though. This is way different to the Axe and Rose we saw in Game 1, where they were huffing and puffing and trying. They had some good moments, but they were just way too open. This time, they're way better defensively, much better with their rotations as well. The only problem is they sometimes get stuck in no man's land, and that's what gets them in trouble at the back. So far, so good, though. Could they get a second right here? Big 50 there. This ball's going towards the back of the net. Darkshade committing too soon. Hamburger Herder needs to hold himself back. Can he get this challenge? He cannot. AG Delight keeping it up in the midfield. Up into the ceiling. He's not anywhere near the ball, though, and he needs to go back.
That's a good bump from Hamburger Herder on Debit. That's a good bump from Bearblitz, but Delight once again taking it back. That's going to go by 2, so it's going to be another attack for Axe and Rose if they can go quick. Goddamn Delight, can he get it? No, it's going to go wide in the end. But once again, it's better play from Axe and Rose. It's going to be Darkshade getting up. Is that going to go in? What a save from Red 4! This net is open, though. Goddamn Delight, can he put it on target? Oh, it's another Minecraft anvil, and I think that's going to do it for Game 2. But once again, Axe and Rose showing their potential there on the offensive end. But unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit, was it too little, too late?
What a final 10 seconds there, Rydog. I certainly thought that ball was going to go in, but Red 4 coming up clutch with a big performance, getting his 3rd save to go with his goal in this match. And despite bringing a better player in Debit in, Axe and Rose were a much tougher assignment this time around for Steel Army.
Yeah, I have Mr. Piglet who's watching the stream DMing me and saying, "Man, they are so close." It is so true. They are so close. I've been saying it all season. They're right there, and it's that final third or that final defensive play that just haven't grasped yet. And I think, like I said, they're getting stronger on the midfield end. They're getting even stronger on the defensive end as well, and they just need to kind of string those things together. And you can see it when in series past, especially I'm thinking like Los Verdes, where they won 2 games, right? They were able to string those defensive plays into the attacking plays, and that's obviously how they're successful. And we just haven't been able to see that all too much tonight so far. Of course, they still have one more game to go. We'll see if they can pull it out here in this Game 3. But like I said, the pieces are there. The pieces are there.
And in all honesty, all they need is 1 point. If they can get 1 point, that's a win for them in my books. And with that,
it's just a mentality boost, right? Like even competing in that last game has to be a mental boost. And so if they can compete in this game and maybe even squeak out a win, like you're saying, and get a point, that's a mentality boost, and they can keep going from there.
And here we go in the Game 3. Match point for Steel Army. And for Axe and Rose, a chance to extend this matchup. Get a point, maybe have a chance to get 2. They certainly have a chance to get the first goal. Darkshade bouncing it into the far post. Great start yet again, and once again, Rydog, it's Darkshade getting the first goal for Axe and Rose.
Yeah, Darkshade is my MVP right now for Axe and Rose. He's been all over the place, scoring the 3 goals that they have so far. And even on the defensive end as well, I've been very impressed with him. So very, very good from Darkshade. And once again, it's Axe and Rose with the lead.
And you know what? It's fitting that he got the first goal because once again, just like Game 1, Raisin Boy had to come in, but unlike Game 1, Hamburger Herder gets the quick fire second. Timbers Armies, Portland Timbers rather, Axe and Rose SC 2-0 up.
Let's go, let's go. I know in these moments they get really hyped in the chat. Let's see if they can kind of bring themselves down. There's still plenty of Rocket League left, but yeah, so far in these first 20 seconds, they've looked great.
I know Debit in the chat is saying right where we want him. Debit, that has to be cope. You have to respond to that. That has to be
Major
cope.
copium. That's super copium. Don't even give me that.
Because
Don't even give me that.
this. I mean, they're cycling really well, keeping the pressure up, managing the boost terrifically. Look at Hamburger Herder getting the ball in the midfield. Loose ball. AG Delight shot on net. Red 4 has to save that and get it out of the way, but they are pegged back right now as another ball gets centered into the middle. Almost a third. Insane save though for Bear Blitz at the near post.
Yeah, that could have been 3, Maz. That's a really, really good save off the post. We heard the Minecraft anvil coming in as we see Red 4 and Raisin Boy trying to combine. Here comes Red 4 off the backboard. He's going to get a boost steal. It's going to be a bump attempt, but it's going to be cleared out by Delight again, and it's going to be a good follow-up from Hamburger Herder as well. Darkshade, can he get a touch? We'll call it a fake, but this leaves Delight kind of in a random spot. Raisin Boy not quite there, and that's a good save. Once again, I'm not sure who it was from Axe and Rose. Once again, they're holding strong.
Nice jump right there from Hamburger Herder too, with 13 boosts, getting up there quickly enough to throw off Steel Army. One of the things I've been noticing though is AGD Delight, a goddamn Delight, does tend to overcompensate going back, and that leaves Steel Army with just enough time to get out a good shot or a fake or another play. If he could be quicker off the mark, his team could get back into it, but this time it's not him. Raisin Boy punishes, I believe, Hamburger Herder right there. Yeah, who was slow off the mark, gets caught in the middle. Little double tap off the lip, off the backboard, 2-1, and Steel Army's back in it, just like that.
Yeah, it's just to increase of speed there, and I think that's how you're going to beat this Axe and Rose team, is with a little bit of speed. As we see a cross come in, it's not quite there. As we see a battle in the corner, it's going to be won by Bear Blitz, but you see Raisin Boy going for some demo, some physical play. That's going to be something to watch out for. Also, you don't want these double commits, but once again, it's
Nice.
Darkshade with a really good 50 to clear this out. It's going to grab the boost. Hamburger Herder's up. It's going to play this into the middle, but no immediate follow-up in the end from Axe and Rose. Once again, they're trying to stabilize after giving up that goal.
And one thing I've been noticing is Red 4 has been sitting back a whole lot more, making sure that he is the anchor for this team, trying to give them some defensive stability. And Raisin Boy is just causing havoc higher up. This time, doesn't get much out of that midfield play. Ball still loose. AGD Delight gets it out of the way. Hamburger Herder has no boost to steal, though, in the corner. Bear Blitz gets it right on cue. And Portland Timbers' Axe and Rose are high up, being aggressive, but they could be undone just like that. Pass it to the midfield to Bear Blitz, who is ready for that. And that is 2-2 with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
Yeah, that third man from Axe and Rose is starting really deep. I wonder if they grab the corner boost and kind of rotate up from there instead of kind of feeling out where the ball is, because I think at that point you either have to be already closer there to win that challenge, or you have to be in net just kind of hanging out and waiting for the shot. And nonetheless, it's going to be a goal back for Steel Army, and we are back on level terms with just over 2 minutes left.
Ooh, a loose play though by Steel Army. AG Delight bringing it out to the corner. Darkshade again. And now the plays are starting to come out, and I think they're starting to become a bit more predictable. We'll see if Axe and Rose can vary it up a bit to unsettle the Steel Army side, but I think they should be happy enough with what they have right now until Bear Blitz gets involved yet again. And we talked about this earlier. Without Debit, Bear Blitz starts to pop up, and this, I believe, it's a second goal, right?
Yeah, I think so, and it's just a miss there from, I think it was Darkshade there, unfortunately, because I think, like I said, he's looked the best as he has all season for Axe and Rose, but just couldn't quite get the touch that he wanted there on that save. But that's a good clear from Darkshade to get this ball back in the orange half. Once again, it's these moments right here. Yeah, can you pressure Red 4 and pressure Steel Army into using boosts? And that's a good challenge from a goddamn Delight. Kind of try to keep the ball in, can't get the ceiling touch, but once again, these rotations are a little bit wonky right now for Axe and Rose, and I think that's just caused a little bit of the confusion. That's a really good demo. That net is open. Can Darkshade get there? We'll call it a fake. A goddamn Delight, can he get there? Darkshade's gonna steal it. To be fair, goddamn Delight hit it right into him, but it's gonna be the leveler with just over a minute left.
Hey, you know what? You take whatever goal you get. Darkshade, take full credit for that. That's his second. He's on a hat trick, just like Bear Blitz. Both teams 3 goals in, 3-3, and we are 75 seconds away from potentially overtime in Game 3. Unless Axe and Rose can get a fourth, and they have a chance right there, just over the crossbar, though. Still not over yet. A goddamn delight couldn't do much with that, and Darkshade needs to get back because Bear Blitz is getting right to that.
Yeah, Raisin Boy got a demo. Red 4 and Hamburger Herder go up. No touches this time. Goddamn Delight's just going to play this over to Raisin Boy. That's a great cut from Hamburger Herder to keep this one level. Once again, I don't know where the momentum is. There's kind of a lot going on as we see Darkshade going for some bumps. This is going to be a key touch from Hamburger Herder. That's going to leave this net open, but Darkshade rushes back in time and gets the save.
Oh, but this ball is loose in the middle. Bear Blitz setting up for a slow play off the backboard. They both miss. Still open off of the post. This ball is loose. Someone needs to take charge. Hamburger Herder clears it away with zero boost. But now he needs to go back. He doesn't choose to do that, though. He chooses to go for a demo. Raisin Boy all on his own at the back, and he finally clears it out as the clock ticks down to the final 10 seconds. Bear with the winner, potentially, thanks to a huge play by Red 4 on the left corner.
Yeah, it's a huge dunk from Red 4. That ball goes straight into the middle, and Bear Blitz almost knew that that's where that ball was going. And it goes straight in with 10 seconds left. Action Rose have to go now if they want to send us into overtime.
Now or never, as the clock ticks down. This is it for Action Rose. They need to make it count off the corner, but Raisin Boy dribbles it out. The ball's loose. The ball's up in the air. This ball might be going into the net again, and it does in the blue end. Game, set, and match. Steel Army get the sweep.
Yeah, what a pass across from Raisin Boy. Red 4 just taps it in, and Steel Army once again just flexing their muscles there, top of the championship table, get it done in 3 games.
Speaking of 3, we see 3 goals from Action Rose this time around. I'd say, in my opinion, their best performance yet throughout this season. And speaking of 3, a hat trick for Bear Blitz. Without Debit, this guy becomes a goal-scoring machine. And this team looks incredibly scary if you are the championship.
Yeah, I mean, Steel Army, like I said, they're just flexing their muscles. They're doing what they do best. And like I said at the beginning, Action Rose can compete. I think that game 1, they were just trying to figure out what was going on. But obviously, they looked really good going into game 2 and even better going into game 3. And maybe comparing them to another Seattle team in ECRC where they kind of feel out the first game, see what's going on, and then kind of build their way into the series. But I guess hopefully maybe we'll hear from one of the Steel Army boys to see how they were, if they were nervous at all. Is this 3-3 kind of late in that game 3, or how they were feeling. But once again, yeah, I think, like I said, Steel Army just flexing their muscles, just showing that they are the better team at the end of the day, and they took home the sweep.
Yes, and it is a well-deserved sweep, but can we also give credit to Action Rose for playing such amazing Rocket League compared to where they were at the start, and really testing the Steel Army team out. I mean, some will accuse Steel Army of being a content team, but I'm telling you, they weren't making too many mistakes. They were not being messy with their gameplay. It's just Action Rose stepped it up and really tested the Steel Army side. Absolutely did. And speaking of Steel Army, we're seeing some talk between Debit and Christian. I think Christian's really looking to the upcoming match against Steel Army, whether in the league or in the cup. I think most likely in the cup. But we'll save that for later, for sure. Let's just focus on Action Rose's performance right here, Rydog. Sum it up for us. What did you see that impressed you the most about them this time around?
Just gritty. Like, I think game 1, you kind of have a feeler out game, if you will, and being like, okay, here's how we can change things. And game 2, they looked even better, especially defensively. They looked better. And then in that game 3, you saw the offense come out, obviously scoring 3 goals and scoring more goals in that game than they did the entire rest of in games 1 and 2 combined. And so, like I said, I think it's just a confidence thing for them, right? They opened 2 games with goals, and that's just credit to their mental, right? They go into each game thinking, hey, we're gonna do this, we can do this. And so I'm not surprised at that. Like I said, it's just a few small things that I just kind of noticed from the bird's eye view that they can kind of tweak a little bit, but then when they make those tweaks, I mean, they might squeak out a win here, right? Like if they tweak some of those things that I kind of noticed in that game 3, they're winning 3-2, or they're going into overtime and those little things. So like I said, it's a great performance for them. and I'm hoping they can keep up this momentum over the course the rest of the season.
Yes, absolutely. We've seen such amazing growth from them, and I'd love to hear about how they've been progressing throughout the season when we get to that interview. But first and foremost, folks, we are going to be interviewing Debit of Steel Army as he hops in very, very soon. And there he is. Debit, welcome on into the commentary booth. A sweep, but a sweep that didn't really feel like a sweep, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, it was a lot different from last time, and for good reason. They ended up having a delight in this time. It was a good time overall. I really like, rotating our squad out as much as possible, trying to see as many combos as we possibly can. And for seeing like all the guys that were out there, I thoroughly enjoyed that series. So that was well worth it.
So the first question in my head right now, sorry, Rydog, I just need to say this before I forget. Were you caught by surprise?
Uh, kind of, yeah. Pleasantly surprised. They've definitely been working on a few aspects of that game, especially trying to boost the speed of everything, which was huge for them. They were just kind of willing to take the ball whenever, and you saw it like progress during the series. They wanted to get more physical as well, so I got to commend them for trying to be more bold in that aspect. There's gonna be a couple things I'm still like, they'll just sort of like work its way out over time, but yeah, as far as surprise. Yeah, I'd say they have, and that's credit to them.
Debit, we only saw you one game in the series. Were you personally scared of them, or like talk to me about that? Because normally, you're kind of the one of the dudes, if you will, but we only saw you for one game.
Listen, whenever you see a guy named gosh darn delight out there, you kind of gotta like tremble in your shoes a little bit, and you gotta wonder what could possibly happen out here. But even then, like, it was a little bit of like trying to get like the squad rotation, like I mentioned earlier. I want to see like just more balanced play from whatever squad roster we can throw out there. I think early on this season, you could like really tell there was like a difference between games that we had like with different rotations. So if we have opportunities to expand upon said rotations and trios that we can throw out, that's what I'm hoping I can get out of some of these series that we got going on over here, especially before potential title fight that we got with BNG later on.
So, Debit, one thing I do want to highlight yet again is when you're out, Bear Blitz pops off. Is there a way you can have him pop off whilst you're in the team, or does he have to take a backseat?
He loves assisting. It's him. He definitely has the ability to take over at any given point, but maybe it's just part of like the game plan. Kind of just gotta rotate it around, do what you gotta do. He sort of like fills in a gap whenever I'm out there, like for something that I don't do out there. So he's really trying to be that complementary player, and that's what he does best. But he definitely has the ability to step up a notch. You saw it with the amount of goals that he was scoring and being in perfect positions for, what Red and Raisin were throwing at him too. So I think it's really been a part of like a good development for him this season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. And let's maybe look forward to that BNG Cup match with you guys. I guess talk to me how you guys are feeling about that coming off of this sweep, and if you want to drop some hints on some potential extra modes other than the one that we all know you're gonna pick. Yeah, just talk to me about that series coming up.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we haven't played them literally since week 1, so it'll be like a little bit of a regroup, sort of wondering what we've been up to since then. Best of 7, so we got more stuff to look forward to. As far as game modes you could play, I mean, it depends on if we lose the game first, but yeah, you already know what mode we'd be looking forward to. And dude, we are not playing that 1v1 2v2 game, bro. Give me a little bit of variety here. Let's get some variety in here. I do not want to 1v1 somebody in a part of a best of 7 series. Give me all the crazy stuff out there.
I like that. Would you Do you think you guys would pick maybe boomer, drop shot, gridiron, uh, unlimited boost strength 5 mode? Do you think
You
that's your
know,
strengths?
I think it would be very funny if you did like gridiron, but like everybody can demo on contact. So basically, like nothing happens. So if a goal happens, it's like one of the most exciting things to ever happen.
Yes.
You gotta go something
Yes.
crazy like that.
I love it. I love it.
So one final question from me. Given how the season is progressing, for you and everyone else in the championship, what would you say has been the biggest surprise for you from the championship this season?
Biggest surprise from the championship. I'm genuinely impressed with, honestly, I know we have our standout performers that we got on each team, but it's honestly still one of the most even leagues that I've seen. Like I've seen teams develop and have strategies around each other so far. So it's really been refreshing to see like the level of commitment these teams are having, especially in the championship, to sort of like get the edge on each other. And especially with ECD, the way they've been like coming up, it's been one of like my favorite rises as of recently. Getting them to be like up toward us and be like a rival at that point. The big dogs, they caught us off guard too, so taking us in 5. So and then we got B and G to worry about with all the talent that they got up top. So I don't know. Every week just feels like a different week at this point. So even though we're playing against like mostly the same people, so it yeah, just the level of commitment that everybody's been putting in to try to get the edge on each other. That's been like what's beautiful about the championship this time around.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Debit, before we let you go, we're of course going to give you the floor, so let's do it.
All right, well, shout outs to the team. You guys did amazing. Thank you for joining us on a Monday night. A little bit later than we wanted, but I'm glad we could play the series out. Don't want to go towards that FF. Shout out to Steel Army. Wonderful time on Wednesday. Wonderful hanging out with Raisin and Co. on Saturday. Or actually the entire weekend in Louisville. Going to see Racing Louisville and Louisville City, but Fox City. So, gotta keep that.
True.
They don't get a shout out.
True.
And yeah, just shout out to you guys for commentating, producing, doing this on a Monday night for us. And yeah, that'll be it for me.
Absolutely.
All right.
I will say, shout out local football. Support local football.
Exactly, because we got our women's team with their first match on Friday, so you already know we're there on Friday.
Hell yeah. Well, all right. Thank you very much for joining us, Devin. Have yourself a good night, and we will catch you next time.
Yep. See you guys. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. So that was Debit. I hope to hear more about his adventures in Louisville. I want to see if he took any pictures. I want to see and hear about him hanging out with the Coopers and other supporters and fans out there. I think that would be a good topic of discussion for a podcast, which might come up not today, of course, but soon this week.
Yeah, I agree, and that's what I love about this community. We're just all in for soccer or football. Like it's really cool. Like right, like, and I know like I can speak from like personally. Like my mom and I do a road trip every year where we go to different cities and go to different soccer games and stuff like that. Last year, we went to Atlanta and Charlotte. The year before that, we went to Dallas and Austin. This year, we're trying to go to Pittsburgh and maybe Cincinnati or something, a Columbus maybe. So it's just a lovely community to do that. And it's like I said, obviously they support their local team, but also just like I said, football in general, going down to Louisville to see some soccer down there and stuff like that. So that's what I love.
Big time, big time. And you know what? Now's a good time for us to move on to our second interview. AG Delight of Accent Rose SC is here with us. Dude, that was a tough loss given how you guys played. But do you feel a sense of pride over your performance throughout this match?
I don't know if pride is the right word. I definitely feel like, we've been taking steps in the right direction. It more just feels like we're about the unluckiest team in SGL. In my opinion, neither team was deserving of a sweep. I don't think they played well enough to sweep us, and we certainly played better than we deserved. The ball just fell for them more than it fell for us. They punished us for a couple more mistakes than we punished them. And yeah, it'd be nice to start seeing some results. But that being said, we put up a fight and we made them work hard. So we'll take that away.
Yeah, talk to me about the comms, because obviously I like to jump in y'all's comms every once in a while. I guess so. Talk to me kind of over the course of the series. Of course, game one, kind of more of a lopsided score. Obviously, you guys scored first in that game, and then I think game two, obviously, at least from our point of view, played a lot better. And then obviously in game three, played even better than that. So talk to me about like maybe some internal comms and how the boys were feeling, and kind of what adjustments maybe you made in between those games that made you guys feel more confident.
We did make one big adjustment, and that was trusting the last man to direct traffic. We were finding ourselves in situations where someone was up a little high and maybe wasn't getting the whole sense of the pitch. And we were just, all three of us trusting each other for me to say, Herder, get out, or, Dark to tell me, I'm coming up on your right, so I could peel off, and without knowing where the other guy was, just kind of trusting that, yeah, if they're going to tell me where to go, they got me covered. And I think we saw some results from that.
And you know what? That's a huge step forward. So, and that explains why you guys played really well for sure, because those comms definitely help. With that said, are there still some things that you guys saw in your own gameplay that you think, oh yeah, we could definitely improve on these? And if so, do you mind highlighting some of them?
Yeah, there's a little. I mean, there's some boost management stuff. There were times where I'm looking up field and, someone's out of boost that, it probably shouldn't be in that position when they're low. Or Trevin called me out once for maybe going for a 100 boost when I maybe didn't need to, and that's also fair. We could do that a little better. I think mechanically we're one of the weaker teams in the league. That can always be worked on, but that can be worked on at any level. It doesn't matter if you're Gold 3 or Champ 2. You can always work on mechanics. No, we didn't really play together a lot this week. This is our first season as a team together, still figuring our stuff out. So it's just a lot of getting used to each other, trusting each other, and yeah, pushing forward.
There, and that
You
comes
mentioned-
over time as well. Sorry, go ahead, Rydoff.
Well, I was gonna say, like, the trust thing I think is huge, and I'm so glad that you said that. And like you mentioned, you're still a young team, and that trust comes over time. And I'll just tell you, because obviously you're here, that Nelly and I, obviously, some might say look pretty good on stream, like we play pretty well together, but we've been playing together for years. Like, you obviously just don't have that time yet, right? And so obviously, like, when him and I play together, it's a lot different, because I know what he goes for. I know where he's at just all the time, because I've just been playing with him so much. And you guys are just starting that process. And so it's good to see that you guys are starting to trust each other like that. And so that trust, even just from what you said of the third man being back and saying, hey, yeah, they can see the whole field. I need to trust, they're giving me communication that I need to trust, because they can see more than me, right? And so that in itself is going to evolve to, hey, now when I am the first man and I'm telling the third man what to do, he trusts me now. And so it's just the giant, circle game of trust. So it's not really a question, just a highlight of that. You guys are, because you said that and you believe that you already are going in the right direction.
Yeah, and Herder and I are, like, I'll be honest, we're solo queue mains. So, like, getting used to playing with people that you trust is impossible unless you do it a lot. But yeah, we're both coming around on that.
So you guys have a few more matches to go in the rest of the season. First off, that cup match against EC Defiance. That's an interesting matchup in my eyes. What are your thoughts on that matchup, given that it is a cup match, which involves extra game modes and is a best of 7 as well? How do you guys think you'll fare against them in this week?
It's absolutely winnable for us. We took B&G late in the series with them. I think had they not been able to just run Christian at us, I was actually joking with the guys after that series. The real LAFC has only one move, and that's give the ball to Denny Bawanga and hope that he makes magic happen. And B&G old timers only have one move, and that's give the ball to Christian the plumber and hope he makes magic happen. So I feel like that is definitely winnable for us. We're going to take advantage of those extra modes. We're going to take advantage of those threes games. And we're going to start getting some results this season.
Absolutely. And having looked at your schedule,
Good man.
you do
Good
have
man.
2 matches in a row against EC Defiant. So after your cup match, you'll have a league match against them as well. So, hey, I mean, who knows? If it doesn't work out in the cup, it might work out in the league, right?
Well, there's more on the line too, because it's a little Portland Seattle match, because we got that coming up this weekend too in real life too. So there's a lot of gut in the fish hopefully coming around. There's my bias showing, but hell yeah.
We're not looking to win one or the other. We're looking to win both, and we're looking
Hell
for
yeah.
the Timbers. And we're looking for the Timbers to beat the Sounders this weekend too. Because when you gut the
Yes.
fish, you gut the whole fish.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Well, there you have it. I don't have any more questions, Rydog. If you have any, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll leave the floor to a goddamn delight.
Yeah, no, like I said, just keep doing your thing. Obviously, just be proud. You guys played so good in that third game, and that just proves that you guys have what it takes. You guys you're just not there yet, and you're close. And I think with these cup matches against or the cup match against Defiance and then the league match against Defiance, y'all are gonna figure it out. So I know the schedule's been a little bit crazy this week. I see you guys in the Discord trying to schedule time to jump on, and it didn't overlap as much as you wanted this week, but keep trying and keep doing it, because obviously you get a little bit more motivated when you play the team from up north there. But that's all I got. Greg, we'll give you the floor.
I got nothing. Shout out to my teammates. You guys are awesome. You guys tried your best, and we're gonna keep doing so. I'm gonna shout myself out. It's my birthday tomorrow, so screw everyone else. It's my day.
That's right. Happy birthday. Let's go.
Happy
Thank
early
you.
birthday.
I'm a
Definitely
super
enjoy
old
that.
man now. And yeah, that's about all.
Well, there you have it. Thank you very much for joining us here, Delight. We'll catch you next time, sometime this week, hopefully.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Take care. There you have it. That is it for our stream, chat, and Rydog. Solid matchup, I'd say. It was fun despite the result being a little one-sided. But, if anything, whilst there's room for improvement, I'd say Axe and Rose have come a long way. And, they might finish off the season strong and maybe give us a surprise towards the end of the season for sure.
Oh, I think they will. And maybe I need to / I kind of want to be kind of more involved in their day-to-day, kind of Rocket Leaguing, because obviously they play a whole bunch. And even if it's just to go and hang out, I just know, like I said, on my schedule, obviously it doesn't quite align with theirs as much too. So I guess that's on me to an extent. But no, it's just a fun group of guys. And like I said, I've been in their comms every once in a while, and I just love hearing the way that they think and the comms that they say, and try and give them help where I can. And so I'm excited for this team's future. Just like, as much as it hurt me to say, like Portland Seattle wise, I was also super excited to see EC Defiance grow, because I've met and love each one of those boys too on that team. So yeah, like they'll get there. They just need time, and obviously you can't do anything to speed up time. And so as time progresses, they will continue to get better. As they play more series, they'll continue to get better, and they have a perfect opportunity, kind of like a home and away leg, if you will, kind of the back-to-back, where whatever happens in that first series, you can kind of make some tweaks and changes going into that next series.
Absolutely. And we'll see how they do in that matchup. But before we end the stream, Rydog, we should take a quick look at the standings. Now that we have Week 7 done and dusted, here are our final standings as of Week 7 on both sides. Steel Army going back to the top with that sweep. Axe and Rose still with 3 points, unfortunately, and far away at the bottom. But, with how they're playing, they'll definitely get a win by the end of the season. And, the race is heating up at the top. Steel Army and BAG Old Timers separated by just 1 point. They'll face each other in the Cup next week, or not next week, in 2 weeks' time. And, with EC Defiance getting into form, I won't be surprised if they get into the race as well.
Yeah, I was just actually talking to some buddies about this. I think it's a little bit too early to go if this team does this and if we do this, then this happens, like those sorts of scenarios, because I know they're a little bit more than halfway past their season. Of course, Premier on there on the left is like exactly halfway done with their season, but I think it's still a little bit too early. Maybe after, next league games get finished, then you can kind of start making those, hey, if this happens and this happens and this happens and all that stuff. But that's obviously we can look forward to that kind of at the end of match week 8 for them, match week 9, something like that.
Match week 8, yeah.
Yeah, at the end of match week 8. So yeah, it's a fun race at the top. You can't discount any of the teams because I think it is very even, and any team can take points off of any of the other teams. And so yeah, it should be a fun end of the season for the championship for sure.
That's right. For now, though, that's it for the stream. It's just this one matchup. As for the rest of the week, we do have one more match tomorrow. It is not going to be a league match, though. No, it's going to be a very special cup match because EC Eternal faces off against the Rebellion in that one lower round 1 match that was supposed to be played last week but didn't get played because not everyone was available from the Rebellion to be able to play this out. So there has been a special arrangement made for that match to be played tomorrow. So look out for that tomorrow. Once that match gets played out, we will have the lower quarterfinals set, and all those matches will be good to go for next week.
Maz, before we take it off screen, do you have a quick prediction for that match tomorrow?
Oh, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Eternal at 6.
Eternal in 6. Okay. I like that. I'm gonna go Eternal in 7. I think Polar's been playing some Rocket League, and when that man's is hot, he's hot. So I'm gonna go Eternal in 7 because I believe in the Spanky man. So and Christmas is my favorite holiday. So and Bisbo just hit GC in 2s. So if those 3 combination things, I'm gonna say Eternal in 7. But it should be a really good series. So tune in tomorrow, everybody.
Absolutely. But for now, that's it for us. Thank you very much for joining me in the commentary booth, Rydog. As always, I appreciate it. Thank you all in the chat for hanging out with us. Hopefully you all had as much fun as we did in the commentary booth covering this matchup. Have a good night, and we will catch you all next time. Peace!
Peace!